Hey everyone, it's Jake here, and welcome back to another Pokemon Go video. And in today's video, we have some more Rainbow Cup battle action for you guys. And today we're going to be taking a look at Forretress in the Rainbow Cup meta and seeing how he performs. So, as you guys know, Forretress is a lawnmower. In this meta, he chops the grass. He cuts the grass, as Battle Hero says. He is a really funny guy. He's grown on me quite a bit. I say a lot of the things he says, a lot of the phrases. I learned that from him. Yeah, Fortress is a lawnmower, and he is the cutter of grass in this meta. But you're gonna want to watch out for things like Charizard, Typhlosion, and Ninetales. He is 2 times weak to the fire types in the meta, so definitely he gets lawn mowed by the fire types, or well, I should say he gets burned by the fire types. So yeah, you're gonna want to watch out for that. But anyways, if you guys enjoy this video, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe as I grind my way to 1,000 subscribers. And I appreciate you all for watching. Let's get right into these battles. Alright, so as I said before, we're going to be using Fortress a lot here in giving a little spotlight on Fortress. I use him in pretty much all these battles. I think there's a few I don't use him, but that's okay because this first game we're going to lead Quaggy, and my friend also leads Quagsire. So this is obviously fine. It's a mirror match. And I'm going to go straight for the Earthquake. And he decides to not shield, so that's good. We're going to actually not shield, predicting a shield bait, and we were correct on that, so that's very good for us. We now have the lead. He is actually going to opt to block that Stone Edge, so that's good for us. We're going to block as well. I've noticed some things in this meta that it's best to if your opponent shields, you also shield. So I found that mirroring shields is probably the smartest way to go. So yeah, he brings out Venusaur, and you guys know what's happening. We're gonna bring out our shiny lawnmower here, Fortress. We're going to cut the grass, being Venusaur, and he's gonna switch into Yanma. So we bring in Ninetales. Fortress would actually do well against Yanma too, but I was surprised by that Yanma knowing Ancient Power. I should have learned up on Yanma before this battle, but that's okay because our Ninetales makes easy work of that, and we know Fortress is in the back, or not Fortress, Venusaur is in the back, and Fortress can easily wall these Frenzy Plants, as you see, doing not very effective damage because of Fortress's Steel typing, and that Bug Bite is doing super effective damage every single hit. And yeah, that's going to wrap up game number 1. Also, I want to shout out my friend, Speediest Chief, aka Will. I appreciate the battles, dude. He hit me up today and wanted to do some Rainbow, and I was like, I'm down. And I decided I wanted to take these battles and try to show off Fortress the best I could. So I'm kind of try-harding in these battles, guys. So yeah, please don't mind that. I want to get out the best showing I can of Fortress for you guys. And I'm loving Fortress. He is a beast in this meta. He's a tank. And I have a shiny one. Perfect CP 1500 on the dot. And yeah, I'm loving it. So this time he opens Lantern. His Lantern is actually Charge Beam. So this is a better matchup for a Fortress. But he swaps into Charizard. As you guys saw, I stayed in there for quite a while. I wanted to build up as much energy as possible. And then I switched into Quag. I let Quag tank the Blast Burn, which in hindsight probably wasn't the best option or choice. I should have probably blocked that. Because now we're pretty low on HP, and we're going to block this Blast Burn. Because we know we're going to get to that Stone Edge. And Stone Edge is going to force out another shield from Charizard or KO. And easily it will knock out Charizard, being double weak to Rock. And he brings back in that Lantern. So he's going to finish our Quagsire off with a Thunderbolt. And we're going to bring in Fortress again. And we're going to go for the super effective Earthquake. That's one of the things I really love about Fortress, is that you can either have Rock Tomb on him to help deal with his counter, being fire types. But you can also run Earthquake to take care of a bunch of the the electric types in the meta. And you also have Heavy Slam, which is great for Yanma. Even though it's not super effective, it still does pretty heavy damage. And yeah, we have Ninetales in the back here to finish off that Yanma. And GG's again in that game. Let's keep trying to show off Forretress here. So, to give some more thought on Forretress, things you're gonna want to watch out for are things like Quagsire and Azumarill. Azumarill's bubble will be doing, I believe, neutral damage. Play Rough won't be doing very effective damage, and neither will Ice Beam. But if they're running Hydro Pump, you're definitely gonna want to watch out for that. So in this game, we're up against a Typhlosion. We gotta swap out of their ASAP into Ninetales. That's not a bad matchup for Ninetales. But then he brings in Mantine, and this is a little scary because Mantine's resisting my my quick move Fire Spin. And here he actually gets me with the Shield Bait. I was thinking maybe Aqua Tail's coming, but it was not. But we do have Psyshock, which is actually putting in a bunch of work against Mantine. But now we decide we're going to just let our Ninetales die. We need to save that shield because look at his shields, guys. He still has both. So we're actually going to go Quagsire here. And the reason is because we're going to just farm. We're going to farm this Mantine doing resisted damage with those Mud Shots. So we have a bunch of stored energy right here. We almost have 2 Stone Edges. And he brings in Typhlosion again. So we're going to block that Blast Burn. We know we can get this first Stone Edge off. The question is, can we get a second? No, we cannot. And he's going to finish us off with that Blast Burn. I really thought Quaggy would be able to live. And he gets off another Blast Burn. And that's where Forretress is weak. That's where Forretress loses, clearly. That Blast Burn does so much damage. You have to have a shield if you're expecting a fire type from your opponent. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Forretress does not want to be in any part of that against a fire type. Especially with Typhlosion knowing Shadow Claw. Even though it's not super effective, it can charge Blast Burn very quick. So in this game, we're going to lead Ninetales. He's going to lead Venusaur. He's going to switch into Azumarill. And we switch in Quag. So this is a pretty even matchup. But he's going to get us with the Hydro Pump, guys. I thought he was going to go for a Play Rough / Ice Beam Shield Bait. But he doesn't. And we're going to force him to shield that first Earthquake. We're going to hit him with the second one, I believe. And that does pretty good damage. But at this point, he's charging a bunch of energy. But now we're going to bring in Forretress and see exactly how good Forretress is at tanking things. But first, we're going to block that Hydro Pump, expecting Hydro Pump. And now here, we're just going to farm energy. So that's one thing Forretress is very good at. It can tank a lot, and it can farm a lot of energy from weak opponents. And then he decides to bring in Yama. So we're just going to go Ninetales once again. And he switches out to Venusaur. So right here, we have him boned. We have one Pokemon that can take out both of his 2. At this point, guys, he was just trying out lineups, so yeah, he wasn't like, we weren't showing teams or anything, and he was just testing Pokemon. So we decided to test our Forretress, and Yama has no chance against Forretress. The Heavy Slam just does too much damage. So I'm going to give you guys three main points on Forretress and why I think you should use him. Number 1, his bulkiness. He has great bulk. You don't really need to shield much. And number 2 is his typing. So his typing is really good. It's Bug and Steel, meaning one of his only main weaknesses is Fire, and that's a 2x weakness. So just like Quagsire, you want to get out of there against a Fire type. But because he's Steel and Bug, he resists a ton of things in the meta. He resists Dragon moves. He takes, I believe, neutral from ground moves. He takes neutral from rock moves. Steel typing is helping out in the rock moves, and the bug typing is helping it take neutral from the ground, because ground is super effective versus steel, but not very effective versus bug. And then electric is also neutral, which is actually pretty good. And then any confusion users is neutral damage. And he's also water's also neutral to him. So yeah, as these battles play out, we have Ninetales versus Quagsire. Let's see how Ninetales does here. It's gonna put in some work. He's gonna make a sacrificial swap into Yama, but we're gonna be able to get off Psyshock first, which is huge because we have that shield advantage, and we know we could feint Quagsire at this point. So yeah, jumping back into the talk about Forretress. First 2 points, he's very tanky. That's number one. Number two, he has great typing. He resists a lot. He takes neutral from a lot, which is good. And he really only takes super effective from fire. And if I'm forgetting something, tell me down in the comments below. And then the third reason I would say he's very good on your team. I just had it in my head. It's because Forretress can wall the grass types, and can also wall the confusion users. So he pairs very well as a bodyguard for things like Quagsire. As you guys know, Quagsire is quite weak to grass, and Forretress walls grass, so that is fantastic for this cup. And he also pairs quite well with things like Raichu, or any water types, because the water types can cover his fire weakness. And Forretress can do decent against the ground types. But your electrics are mainly going to be countered by either Venusaur, Meganium, or Quagsire. But Forretress can actually stand up against Quagsire sometimes with Earthquake. So at least you have that coverage. And one of the only main downsides to Forretress is the fact that, again, it's double weak to fire. And the fact that it takes so long to get to his charge moves, because that Bug Bite, it deals pretty good damage, but it just takes so long to charge. It's like Water Gun. It doesn't gain energy at a quick rate whatsoever. But that's okay, because Forretress's tankiness makes up for it. Yeah, as you guys are watching this game, you guys are seeing what's happening here. This Mantine tanks the Silver One, which is incredible, and then we finish off the Venomoth with an Aerial Ace here, and we take that W. So yeah, let's see what Forretress has in store for us in this next game. Alright guys, I apologize for that. We're not going to be running Forretress this game, but we are going to be testing out Mantine, Raichu, and Venusaur some more, and he's going to be testing out his Kingdra. So this is an unfavorable matchup for us in 2 shields. You guys can see that Dragon Breath is just going to work, guys. It's like the same thing as Altaria. It's just so strong. So we're going to end up blocking this Hydro Pump. We thought it would be Outrage, but it was actually Hydro Pump. So yeah, and then he blocks this Aerial Ace, which means he's going to farm a bunch of energy here. But he's so low on HP that we can just bring in Venusaur and finish him off. And now he decides to go in with Venomoth. So we need to get out of there ASAP to Raichu. And he's going to switch at the perfect time to a Mad Cargo. So that's interesting. An interesting pick there. I know there's hype around Mad Cargo being a wall to things like Mantine and Charizard. But, you know, right here, this is a matchup I can farm the rest of the way. So we're going to farm it a bunch. We're actually going to kill it with Vine Whips. And then we bring out Venomoth. But sadly, that Silver One KOs our Venusaur. So yeah, if we got Charge Move priority there, we could have possibly gotten off 2 frenzy plants, but I don't think it would have won us the game regardless. Because Venomoth is also a lawnmower for the grasses, so yeah. I mean, overall, GG's thus far. I'm loving Ninetales and my cargo on the same squad. And here we have some more Forretress hype. Oh, I'm tired. Sorry if you can tell in the video. I'm trying to be as energetic as I possibly can, but it's really late where I live right now. Yeah, he's gonna bring in Venusaur against Quag, so this is a bad matchup. But one positive is that Earthquake does a ton of damage, and he uses his energy to kill my Quagsire. And you guys, oh, I thought I was gonna bring in the lawnmower, but we bring in Ninetales. He brings in Mad Cargo again. We don't want anything to do with that Mad Cargo, so we're gonna spend a shield here to get rid of it. I believe. Yes, we do. We're scared Mad Cargo can possibly get to another Stone Edge, but it does not, and we nearly fainted out with a Side Shock. But now it's time to bring in Forretress, and let's see how he tanks the Stone Edge. It doesn't even do half HP, so a Stone Edge only doing half is really good. But now here's a really crazy matchup. So we're gonna get after Heavy Slam versus Venomoth, and you guys can see Bug Bite is chipping it down slowly, and we actually resist that Silver Wind. And we're gonna be able to take this game with the Heavy Slam. So yeah, Forretress is just a tank. Like, he's resisting those confusions. He's resisting the Silver Wind. Like, he resists any of the bug and psychic moves in this meta. So a lot of people will be running bugs and psychics. I know there's a lot of hype around the confusion users right now, like Executor. I sadly don't have one under 1500. I do have one that is maxed, but yeah, I'm trying to ask around in my community for them, but no one seems to have one, so unlucky for me, but it is what it is. I could just run and execute, but yeah, I don't feel like really investing in that right now. So in this next game, we're going to be running Quaggy in the front, and he runs Lantern. So off the bat, this is a fantastic matchup for us. Let's see what he does. He's going to stay in, build some energy, but then he switches into Venomoth. And this is where we get to show off Forretress some more. Let's see how much this Silver One does. It doesn't really do much at all, guys. So we can tank anything and everything from Venomoth. Even a Psychic probably wouldn't do that much damage. Yeah, that Silver Wind obviously is chipping us down, but we've already forced a shield. And we might force a second one here. Let's see what he does. He does not shield, so that's going to be a win-win for us. We burn a shield, and we take the matchup, so we get switch advantage. He shows he has an Azumarill, so right here we're kind of scared because we only have Quagsire to get rid of this Azumarill. But we are going to land an Earthquake, so that is very good for us. We're going to land a second one. Quaggy Boy is just so good at charging up those moves. We're going to decide to block this, thinking maybe he would go for the Hydro Pump, which he did. And right now, just farming some energy. And we're not going to block that play rough, so that was a good call on us. And we're going to finish off his Azumarill. And we knew his Lantern was last, so we wanted to get out of there before so we could save that energy on Quag. But we just decided to go for the Stone Edge, and now we have the advantage over the Lantern. And we are able to finish it off with a Side Shock. So Ninetales is doing its job here, and that's one of the reasons I like Ninetales over Charizard. It's not weak to electric moves. Although it is weak to water, so is Charizard. And Charizard is squishier, so Ninetales is slightly better at tanking water moves, although it's not pretty. It's not looking pretty at all for any of the fire types in this meta, but that's for sure. So here we're going to open Venusaur, and he's going to open Kingdra. Once again, he's trying out Kingdra in the opening matchup, but right there he makes a great switch. I was just trying to get off that Frenzy Plant ASAP, But we're going to switch into Raichu, and this is where Raichu will shine. We just knock out that Charizard with one quick Thunder Punch, and he brings that Kingdra back in. So we're going to go for the heavy-hitting Wild Charge. And he's going to block, so that's okay. We're just going to let our Raichu fall there. We took a shield, and we clearly know we can handle this Kingdra. So we're gonna come back in with Venusaur and see if he decides to shield this, and he does. So that means we're gonna switch into Ninetales, preserving that Venusaur there, and he's gonna switch into Venomoth. So this is another sacrifice scenario, but our Ninetales is easily going to mop up that Venomoth, and we're gonna block that Hydro Pump. So now at this point, we know Kingdra has no energy left, and we're gonna finish it off with a Psyshock. So again, guys, I'm telling you, Ninetales in Forretress is a very strong combo. Although you definitely have to watch out for Azumarill and the water types. Just watch out for the Hydro Pump mostly. And that's why I bring Venusaur usually with that duo. Or I'd bring Raichu. Or Quagsire, which, you know, is amazing too. Because we have Quag, which is 2 times weak to grass, and then we have 2 hard grass counters, being Ninetales and Forretress. And then we have Quagsire as a water type counter with Earthquake and Stone Edge. In this matchup, we're going to open yet again Quaggy versus Quaggy. So let's see who wins the mind games here. So right off the bat, we know he charged that Stone Edge off quicker than an Earthquake because, you know, we're looking at our energy. We're going to decide to go for a shield bait, and he does not take the bait. So we're going to try to trick him with an Earthquake here this time, and he decides to shield. So smart on him. We're going to mirror shields. And now we're just going to feint him with an Earthquake, and let's see if it lands. It does land. So we get the turn priority, or the switch priority. He brings in Venusaur, so we're going to go Forretress. We just gave up our turn priority, so that was kind of a bad play, but we didn't want him to farm our Venusaur, but in the end, we should have just let him because we have to sacrifice Forretress there. But we do bring in Quagsire, and look at this. We can't get Stone Edge off, guys. He has no shields, and we can't get Stone Edge off. That is really bad for us. We have to just forego shields here, and take care of this Typhlosion ASAP with a Psyshock. That's going to feint Typhlosion, and his last Pokemon is Venusaur. So that's really good for us. We forego shields, so we have this shield in the back, and we know Psyshock is going to take care of Venusaur here, and it does. So we turned a terrible mistake of ours into a winning scenario, just because of the fact that Ninetales has that slight bulk to be able to withstand a Blast Burn, and we also saved the shield just for it. So yeah, if I was to redo that, I would just let the Venusaur farm Quag because it wouldn't do much to Forretress anyways. That was just me being maybe a little cocky, but yeah, maybe just being a little too aggressive in thinking, oh, he's not going to bring Charizard, but he obviously does, or I mean Typhlosion, but yeah. This time we're going to lead with our Lawnmower Forretress here, and he leads Typhlosion, so this is awful. We got to switch out of their ASAP to Ninetales. Ninetales is a good counter to the fire types. It's pretty even against them, and Ninetales is probably one of the safest swaps in the game, just because that it has Psyshock, which is neutral to a lot of the meta. But yeah, we're going to just get out-farmed by energy here. That Shadow Claw is just too fast for us, and we can't get to another Psyshock. So this is a bad scenario. We do let that timer go down, though, so we can get our switch clock. And we're just going to wait for a switch. And he switches perfectly into Tentacruel. So we're going to switch into Forretress. We know we are 2 times resisting those poison jabs in those sludge waves. because that steel typing being immune to poison. And look at this. We're just going to farm this thing. So, guys, look at this sludge wave. He can hit us twice with that, and we're just still farming. We're in a perfect spot to farm here. And yeah, at this point in time, we're just going to spam that Earthquake, knock out Typhlosion, and we're almost at another one, and he has a Forretress in the back. So let's see what this Earthquake does. It actually chips it down a lot, so we're going to immediately switch into Quagsire. We're going to tank that Heavy Slam, and you guys know we're going to beat him to that charge move, and we're going to finish off Forretress with the Stone Edge and take that game. So another great game with Forretress, showcasing how good it can do against things it resists. And yeah, it's unlike Charizard. Even a Blast Burn against Charizard would do a crap ton of damage. So yeah, guys, jumping into this last game here, showcasing the power of Forretress. The ability to farm with Forretress, it's just a great thing to see. That Venomoth just got chipped down so much, and then he brings in Magcargo. We have a counter to that. This match is already going perfectly. This Earthquake would knock out Magcargo instantly. But he's going to decide to block. So we're going to block that Stone Edge. That was a mistake on our end. For some reason in my head here, we thought Magcargo had Solar Beam, just because of the fact that some of the fire types do, like Ho-Oh, like Mind Fart, Typhlosion. That's okay, because we farm it for a ton of energy. And as you can see here, we hit that Venomoth with 2 Stone Edges, forcing the last shield and killing the Venomoth. And now we're going to bring in Forretress, and that's going to do amazing against Venusaur. And then we have Ninetales in the back just for show. And yeah, we're going to take that game pretty swiftly there. And yeah, guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys liked. I hope you guys found this informative and you liked and enjoyed my commentary. And I hope you liked my reasoning behind why Forretress is a fantastic Pokemon to use in the Rainbow Cup. I personally think it's the best bug type there is out there, just because of the fact that it can't get walled by too many things other than fire types. And it's the tankiest of the bug types, 100%. And it can beat all the other bug types as well, pretty much, for the most part. You know, having that steel typing is huge, because it is resisting it's resisting all the moves that the other bug types have, being poison, things like Poison Jab, things like X-Scissor, things like Silver Wind. You know, it's very unique, and it can beat all the other poison / bug types in this meta. So, as a note, guys, Forretress is very powerful. So, if you haven't yet, evolve your Pinecos, check their IVs, try to find the highest IV combo, and test out Forretress, and I guarantee you, you'll get used to it. It definitely wasn't easy to use in the beginning. I was really iffy on it. But once you learn how to use it, you're going to be in a better place, guys. Trust me on that. And yeah, I hope you guys found this video enjoyable. Hope you liked my commentary. And again, I hate saying it, but, you know, I make this content for you guys. So if you're willing, please drop a like, comment, and a subscribe, and help me as I grind my way to 1,000 subscribers. Let's see if I can do it by the end of June. This is going to be a tough one for me, because I have to average roughly 10 subs a day. I was doing the math last night, but I believe the dream is real, guys. Let's see if it can happen. So yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.